So good morning students, welcome you all to today's online class. And so today we are going to continue with chapter 5, that is introduction to Euclid's geometry. Little more things you need to know about this because lots of interesting things are there, and students, if you know these interesting things, then only you will develop a lot of interest in mathematics, and that is our sole aim. Okay, being a mathematics teacher, my aim is to develop lots and lots of interest in mathematics in all of you. Okay, so let us continue with chapter 5, that is introduction to Euclid's geometry. Okay, so introduction to Euclid's geometry. So let us continue with this. So in the Indian subcontinent, not only in Egypt and all those areas, okay, that is out of India, but geometry was very popular in the Indian subcontinent also. Okay, the Indus Valley civilization known to you all, Indus Valley civilization. The Indus Valley civilization existed only for around 3000 BC, isn't it? Around 3000 BC. It is now well proved, isn't it? Scientifically proved that Indus Valley civilization existed around 3000 BC. Okay, so existed at around, that means 3000 BC. That means around like what? More than 5000 years before. So at that time also it is seen that at that time also the excavations that have been carried out at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. The excavations carried out at Harappa and Mohenjo-daro seem to indicate extensive use of geometry in the different constructions that were carried out during this period. Okay, that is in Indus Valley civilization during the year 3000 BC. Okay, extensive use of geometry was there. Okay, so students, as the excavations were carried out at Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, it was observed that the houses were given particular geometric shapes, suppose rectangular and somewhere like square. Okay, particular shapes were given to the houses. Also, the roads that were constructed, this edge was parallel to this edge, and again suppose this road was parallel to this road, like that. Okay, so suppose these shapes of the houses were given particular geometric shapes, and also the roads. You see, this edge of the road and this edge of the road were parallel. Again, this edge and this edge were parallel, and also this road and this road were also parallel. Such accuracy was maintained in the construction of roads during this Indus Valley civilization. Okay, so you can see that geometry was extensively used in the Indian subcontinent also, and also students, it would be very, it would develop a lot of interest in you all if you would come to know that the underground drainage system that was constructed, there also extensive use of geometry was done. Okay, underground drainage system. So the underground drainage system, isn't it? It was covered like this. Okay, you see 3000 BC, then also the underground underground drainage system was developed in the Indus Valley civilization, and still in this age also in some of our areas there is no underground drainage system. So such advancement was achieved so much such in such earlier times, such ancient times also. You see, just imagine underground drainage system at such ancient times. Okay, so it was a very well planned civilization actually. Okay, where a lot of geometry was used, and even it would be of lot of interest to you all if to know that the bricks that were constructed in the Indus Valley civilization, that is in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, all in every brick a particular ratio was maintained. Length is to breadth is to height is equal to 4:2:1. This is the cube. This is the brick, isn't it? This is the brick, students. This is the length. This is the breadth, and this is the height, isn't it? This is just like a brick, isn't it? This is the length. This is the breadth, and this is the height. So length is to breadth is to height was always 4:2:1. Okay. So such accurate measurements were done, and it was maintained actually in every brick that was prepared in this civilization. You will find this measurement accurately. Okay, so that was a wonderful achievement, isn't it? Such wonderful use of geometry. Also, students, during the Vedic period, that is from 800 BC to 500 BC, during the Vedic period, that is from 800 BC to 500 BC, the Sulba Sutras were developed. So the Sulba Sutras were developed, which were manuals of geometrical constructions. Okay, the Sulba Sutras were developed from 800 BC to 500 BC. So Sulba Sutras mainly gives us the measurements and the ways to develop the different kind of altars that were used for worshipping in these ancient times. I think most of you have seen that when any kind of worshipping is done in your own house, or as we have observed in our school also during Saraswati Puja, what happens is that this kind of one square shape is made. One square shape is made like this, isn't it? And in this square shape, several pieces of wood is kept, and different kind of materials are used for worshipping. These things are kept, and fire is lit on, isn't it? Fire is lit. Isn't it? Fire is lit. So this is what? This is a Hindu ritual, isn't it? In where your fire is lit and worshipping is done just to please the god and goddess. So you see, this kind of shapes, accurate measurements were used just to prepare this kind of shapes. That is square shape and sometimes circular shape. Okay, so during this Vedic period only, these all things were developed, and geometry was extensively used for making these altars. Okay, of square shape and circular shape. And square shape and circular shape altars were mainly used for the household rituals. When we are worshipping a god or goddess in our own house, and only square shape and circular shape your altars were made. Okay, I think all of you understood what altars are. Such kind of square shape is made or circular shape is made, and here wooden pieces are kept. goddess. Then we put different kind of materials here, you know, camphor and all, isn't it? And oil and all, and then this wood, the fire is lit. No? Isn't it? And the worshipping of God is done this way, isn't it? And what is the main thing here? We want to know that the main thing is the accurate measurements that are used for either in square shape and in circle shape. Absolutely accurate. Okay, and these shapes are for household purposes. But for the public worshipping ceremony, but when publicly worshipping of, that means in an area, the complete area is, you know, in the ceremony or worshipping ceremony, or the complete area like Durga Puja, during the Durga Puja, complete area gets involved in that worshipping of Goddess Durga, isn't it? Then the altars that are developed are combinations of the altars for the combinations of your rectangles, triangles and trapeziums. Rectangles, triangles and trapeziums. Okay, so for the public worshiping, the altars that are developed, okay, these are little bit different. That this was developed in the Vedic period. What is the difference here? These altars are combinations of rectangles, triangles and trapeziums. Rectangles, the rectangular shape, the triangular shape and the trapezium shapes are combined for making these altars for the public worshiping. Okay, so you see in this way, you see here also the use of geometry, you know, isn't it? Rectangle, triangle and trapezium shapes all are part of geometry, isn't it? All are part of geometry or not? Rectangle is there, triangle is there, trapezium is there. All these were also all these shapes were combined for making the altars. Okay, and again, as we come to know that one more type of altar was also very popular during the Vedic period. One more type of altar, that is given in the Atharva Veda. Atharva Veda, the Sri Yantra given in Atharva Veda. The Sri Yantra given in the Atharva Veda here consists of nine interwoven isosceles triangles. Okay, 9 interwoven isosceles triangles. Interwoven means of this sort. Like this, one triangle woven inside, woven on another triangle, like that. Okay, so 9 interwoven isosceles triangles, and they produce 43 subsidiary circles. They will producing 43 subsidiary triangles. Just imagine. Okay, 9 interwoven isosceles triangles must be there, and these 9 triangles must produce 43 subsidiary triangles. Okay, then only the altar is perfect. This kind of altars were also used during the Vedic period. Okay, this altar is Sri Yantra. Okay, it was named, and it is also given in the Atharva Veda. You can easily search for these things also. Okay, so you see the kind of use of geometry that was done in ancient India, isn't it? But the thing is that to the accurate geometric methods were used for the construction of altars. For the construction of altars, accurate measurement was taken, but the principles behind them were not discussed. That is the main thing. The principles behind these things that were carried out, these accurate measurements were carried out. What are the principles behind these? These things were not discussed. Only this knowledge was passed from one generation to the another. But these were principles were not discussed, means in the sense that the proofs that we will do these years. Now that the proofs of the different kind of structures, prove that this is this, isn't it? Prove that the sides of a square are equal. These things were not carried out. Just it was used and the knowledge was passed from one generation to the another. Okay.